Have you ever felt like the game is kind of rigged? You know, that the biggest companies out there are all playing by a completely different set of rules? Well, what if I told you that the playbook they're all using, it was written 150 years ago by just one man? And his system, it became the invisible operating manual for our entire modern world. $400 billion. That's the inflation-adjusted net worth of John D. Rockefeller. Now, to put that in perspective, that's more than Bezos, Musk, and Gates combined. He was, without a doubt, the wealthiest person in modern history. But his real fortune, his real power, wasn't just the money. You see, Rockefeller's true legacy is the creation of a corporate operating system, a literal playbook for monopoly that the most powerful companies on Earth still use to this day. We're talking big tech, big pharma, the works. And once you see it, you will start seeing it absolutely everywhere. So who was this guy anyway? Well, Rockefeller started out as a simple bookkeeper in Cleveland. He was watching the chaotic 1859 oil rush, this world of wild gambling and crazy boom-bust cycles, and he saw something that nobody else did. He saw a system just waiting to be ruthlessly organized and completely controlled. Now, you gotta understand, this right here is the key to his entire mindset. Rockefeller wasn't just some ruthless businessman. No, he genuinely believed he was on a moral mission. He saw all the waste and the chaos of competition as fundamentally wrong, and he believed that creating an orderly, efficient monopoly, well, that wasn't just good business, it was practically God's work. All right, so let's dig into his first masterstroke. His goal wasn't just to be a little better than his rivals. No, his goal was to control the entire system, making it literally impossible for them to even compete with him in the first place. It's a strategy called vertical integration. And while all his competitors were just focused on refining oil, Rockefeller looks at the entire supply chain and thought, wait a minute, why am I paying someone else for every single step? So he just started buying everything. And this is where the genius really kicks in. He saw the entire chain as one single machine. He bought his own barrel factories, slashing his packaging costs in half. He bought his own fleet of rail cars and built his own pipelines to completely control transport. This gave him a massive cost advantage. And get this, the power to negotiate secret predatory deals with the railroads, where he got paid rebates while his competitors got overcharged. Okay, now for his second strategy. And this one was way more brutal. It had one simple goal: total and complete market domination. If owning the chain was the setup, this was the knockout punch. So, in 1872, Rockefeller unleashes what historians now call the Cleveland Massacre. He went to every single rival refinery owner with a very simple offer: sell your company to me, or I will use my insane cost advantage to slash prices and drive you straight into bankruptcy. And it worked. In just 3 months, he acquired 25 of the 26 refineries in the city. By combining vertical integration to absolutely crush costs with this ruthless horizontal consolidation to eliminate his rivals, he achieved this just staggering number. By 1879, his company, Standard Oil, controlled 90% of all oil refining in the United States. It wasn't a business anymore. It was a bona fide monopoly. Now, you might be thinking this story ends in 1911 when the Supreme Court finally broke up Standard Oil. But here's the thing. They only broke up the company. They never destroyed the playbook. In fact, that exact same playbook is the core business model for the most powerful corporations on the planet today. I mean, the parallels are they're impossible to ignore. Look at Amazon. That's Rockefeller's vertical integration, but on steroids. They control the marketplace, the shipping, and even the cloud computing that runs half the internet. Meta buying Instagram and WhatsApp, that's pure horizontal consolidation, classic Rockefeller. And Alphabet, Google's parent company, it's just a modern-day version of the trust structure Rockefeller's lawyers invented to control everything from behind the scenes. Think about this number for a second. At its absolute peak, Standard Oil controlled 91% of the oil refining market. That level of dominance was so shocking, so unprecedented, it triggered the biggest antitrust case in American history. But what if I told you that playbook is not only alive and well, but it's created something even more dominant today? Yeah, it's pretty wild. Google's grip on search today is actually greater than Standard Oil's was at its absolute height. The playbook hasn't just survived, it has been perfected. And look, this system goes way beyond tech. In big pharma, they call it regulatory capture, basically influencing regulators to write rules that are so complex only the big guys can comply, locking out any new competition. In banking, that same holding company structure creates institutions that are too big to fail. And even modern billionaire philanthropy, that was pioneered by Rockefeller, not just for charity, but as a powerful tool for shaping policy and public opinion. Okay, so why does all this history matter to you right now? Because this isn't just some business strategy from a textbook. It is the very architecture of the world you navigate every single day, and it was designed from the ground up to be almost impossible to opt out of. And here's the paradox that makes this whole system so powerful, so sticky. It actually works. For us, the consumers. Standard Oil made kerosene cheap and reliable for millions. Amazon delivers almost anything to your door in a day. Google gives you the world's information in an instant. The system provides real value and efficiency, and that is precisely its secret weapon. That's why it's so dominant and so difficult to challenge. So, when you're faced with this giant machine, what can you really do? Well, it seems like there are three main responses. 1, you can just accept it, enjoy the convenience, and see consolidation as inevitable. 2, you can actively resist it, support smaller businesses, push for antitrust efforts, and maybe trade some of that efficiency for a more decentralized world. Or 3, you can choose to participate in it. If the system is designed to concentrate wealth, you can own a piece of it through investing. Ultimately, Rockefeller built a machine that outlived him by over a century, a machine that continues to shape our world in ways most of us never even see. It was designed to concentrate wealth and power, all while providing just enough efficiency to keep us all playing the game. The question is, now that you can see the machine, what's your move?